Good day to you all. I am Georgina Hernandez, a happy and proud former member of the Council of Organizations of the Ateneo, or COA. First, allow me to congratulate and thank all of you Ateneo student leaders for taking up additional responsibilities in these already challenging times. May this activity provide a space and time for each one of you to step back, breathe, and reflect on your journey that led you to where you are today. I'm grateful to be given this chance to be a part of the 2021 Hinirang, the Student Leaders Recognition, Send-Off, and Induction Ceremony. You are the student leaders of the first and hopefully only the last year with a fully remote and online setting for students. I am grateful because this opportunity allows me to also look back during my time as a student leader in the Ateneo, and as I do that, I remember that I was also part of one of the lasts and one of the firsts. Last batch to be in Colayco Hall, 1 year in Mateo Ricci, which used to be our temporary home, before we became the first batch to be in the MVP Center for Student Leadership building. I mentioned that I'm a proud COA member with my role as the last SOA cluster head, or socially oriented organizations of the Ateneo. All of these memories start rushing in, and I realized that many, if not all of my experiences as a college student leader will be forgotten by the next batches of student leaders and org members after me. And while that may initially sound sad, I actually found joy and peace knowing that I still carry these memories in my heart, and it still continues to inspire and energize me until today. As student leaders, we always talk about institutionalizing our programs, creating a lasting positive impact, and changing people's lives. And yes, we will always do our best in all of those. But I think the people whose lives are changed the most are ours, the student leaders. While I always think that I am still a fresh graduate because I can easily remember details from my college life, I realized that I actually graduated 14 years ago. It truly doesn't feel that way because I remember the many lessons that I have learned from org rooms to plansems to retreats and EBSEMs, and I want to share some of these with you. First is to be professionals for others. It started out as men for others, then men and women for others, then we now refer to it as professionals for others. In fact, I remember when we talked about the reclustering of COA orgs at that time, having the socially oriented organizations of the Ateneo cluster seems to connote that socio-political involvement, nation building, development, and service are only SOA's role. At that time, there was a strong need to communicate that this is a shared responsibility of all, that we can address our country's problems and help our fellow Filipinos using our own expertise and fields. In fact, this became so real for me, such that when I worked as director at the Department of Social Welfare and Development, you might think that I hired mostly students from social sciences, but actually most of my staff were graduates from management courses. There was so much need for their expertise in the delivery of social welfare and social development services. Being professionals for others, I would say, is really about finding your passion, pursuing ways to hone your skills in that area, and then applying it to your work. For our graduating student leaders, this could be your work after college. And for our new batch of student leaders, this could be the projects that you will initiate in your respective orgs. Professionals for others also means that there's no monopoly of good ideas and good initiatives for creating social impact and helping address social problems. This then leads me to my second point, which is the need for synergy and collaboration. And this is what inspired our special project during our time in COA called the COA Super Project. Sir Tato is probably familiar with this because he guided us and inspired us in starting this up. We identified one partner community as our common area for all COA orgs. We got AYA to do a baseline study and needs analysis. The performing arts orgs conducted play therapy activities. There were livelihood programs, women empowerment programs, and literacy programs all in one area. Looking back, I realized that it was an ambitious and almost impossible task. It was hard to sustain across batches because of the constant transition of leaders and members. What impact did that actually make? A lot. And because that experience influenced me so much that in all my roles in public sector, in the government, and civil society as director in DSWD, head of anti-poverty programs for VP Lenny, and now as executive director of Galing Pok Foundation, I always try to find my COA Super Project. I always find areas for collaboration with different organizations and people. Since then until now, I know I can never do things alone. One org can never accomplish its vision and mission by itself. And while the COA Super Project died, the idea stayed with me and continues to influence my work wherever I go. My wish for you as student leaders is to have this privilege to plant seeds among your fellow leaders, members, and peers that will hopefully influence their actions and ideas when they occupy positions of influence in society, whether that is in government, civil society, or private sector. As I close, I want to thank each one of you for the work that you do. It is not easy to be a student leader during this pandemic. No one, literally no one, has ever been in your positions before. You are treading new paths, and we are all here to journey with you as you lead the way. Allow me to end with a story. My brother is a freshman in Ateneo de Manila, and he didn't get the dream of crossing the stage at the Ateneo de Manila High School covered courts to shake Father Jet's hand while receiving his diploma. It was tough for him, and I truly felt it. Now, as a freshman, he spends all day in front of a computer. He is sad that he doesn't even know his classmates because he says their Zoom cameras are always turned off. Sometimes, he doesn't join us for dinner because he's attending org activities, still in front of the computer. Zoom, Facebook Messenger, even on Discord. One night, he said he's attending an orientation as a mentor for senior high school students from different schools to teach them marketing. He was so happy and proud at that moment. He seems to be surviving his freshman year in this online setting, and I have you, the student leaders, to thank for that. The extra mile that you're taking is for people like my brother who need to find a sense of community and a sense of belongingness in this digital or online setting. As today's event is entitled Hinirang, as the ones chosen or appointed, I cannot help but think that it is so appropriate. Of all the batches of student leaders from decades ago until today, you were the chosen ones to be the bearers of light during these dark and challenging times for our country. You seem to have impossible tasks ahead of you, from your personal life, your student responsibilities, your extracurricular responsibilities, and then that call to even create that impact beyond Ateneo. But you're all still here. You're holding steady and staying strong. So again, thank you for your service and leadership. Thank you for staying the course despite all the challenges that we are facing. Maraming salamat, magandang hapon at padayon sa ating lahat.